Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Um, my topic will be charging ahead future-proof cybersecurity for connected electric vehicles. My name is Turla, and I'm currently the principal security researcher for VIC1. And this is actually a collaboration presentation with Newman Huck, but he's currently not here. So I'll be the one. I'm one of the representatives, and also I've also added some insights that I did when we do security research for electric vehicles. Okay. So as what you all know, VIC1 is actually a subsidiary of Trend Micro, and we actually do a lot of stuff for services on automotive security. One of that is penetration testing, threat intelligence, and a couple of like VSOC or virtual security operations. All right, so let's start with a dilemma or the plague that is currently happening in Canada right now, okay? So a car is actually stolen 6 minutes in Canada. And then there's like some media sensationalism that are EVs hard to steal? I mean, because there's a lot of like interviews and also newspapers that says, is it really hard to steal? Why is it that people are not stealing electric vehicles, right? That's the current threat landscape right now in Canada, okay? By the way, I'm not from Canada, I'm from the Philippines. So yeah, so is it really true? Do thieves really avoid EVs due to their advanced security features and lack of demand? Okay, is this really true? Yeah. Actually, this is not true because take for example, you have here a Mercedes E-Class, which is from the bottom, and then from the top you have there a Mercedes EQS class. Okay, and what's the difference? One on the top, that's an electric vehicle or an EV, while the bottom, that's actually running on ICE, right? But as what you can see, the only difference there is the color and then the engine, all right? But the components that you see there are similar. You have the same infotainment system, but just different color, okay? But it's the same OS, the same cluster, just different engine, okay? But then again, we see a lot of this happening right now in Europe and a couple of countries, okay? I don't know, is it like famous in India, Ioniq 5? It's kind of famous in my country right now and also in Korea and Europe and also Japan, not so much, but it's coming. US as well, it's already there. This is like very famous. But then again, there's this guy from Europe where he just took a vacation and he actually spent like 50K to flash his Hyundai EV. And then when he went back, he saw his vehicle was not there already, right? So it was stolen. And then when we checked the surveillance video, the hacker was just like near the vehicle and then was able to steal the vehicle, right? With just a tool called Game Boy emulator. Okay, yeah, that's the sample device for Game Boy. It looks like a Game Boy really, but the module can emulate the key fob of the latest Korean electric vehicles. Okay, and it's not even sold on dark web. It's sold publicly on an e-commerce website. Okay, so this is like the price of this key fob emulator. By the way, you might say that Flipper is like this. No, Flipper is not like this. People don't use Flipper for stealing vehicles, and Canada is banning it. We don't use. Not me. Syndicates don't use Flippers because Flipper is actually used by security researchers. But criminals use this, or thieves use this. And also, based on our threat intelligence, we've actually seen wherein I communicated to Dennis Laskov. This is actually his screenshot. He found another Game Boy advertised in Telegram. This is not for EVs. A while ago, it was for EV. But you can see here that it's actually for Toyota, Lexus, and Subaru. And it affects 2015 to 2024. So basically, you know that cars have rolling codes, right? So if you try to repeat with a radio current receiver, you can't like open the car. But there is actually an attack called rollback, wherein you will try to desync with 3 to 5 valid signals, and then you can open the car. But that is not what Game Boy does, okay? Records the signal, and it will try to decode or decrypt the encryption of the rolling code. So it's like a code grabber, okay? And then at Pontoon Automotive, Tron Micro, Zero Day Initiative, and VEC1 hosted the first Pontoon Automotive in Japan, in Tokyo, Japan. And then these are the EV chargers. So aside from electric vehicles, you have the EV chargers. I see a lot of EV chargers there. But these are the EV chargers that were pawned or hacked during the Pontoon. It's like giving back to the community. So the OEMs or the makers of the EV companies, they actually allow their products to be tested and hacked by security researchers. And the security researchers will be rewarded with like 25,000 US dollars for getting a remote code execution or basically uploading a new firmware to the EV charger. So this is a risk because if you upload a malicious firmware, you could turn your EV charger like it could become a DDoS botnet. It could also harm your car if it will try to spike up the voltage, so something like that. Also, we can see that this is actually a video that I recorded when I was at Singapore just to show that actually Teslas can be pranked, okay? With Flipper Zero because the charging point, the charging point of Tesla is actually, it uses a static RF signal, and you can actually just, open the charger ports and prank them, okay? Yeah. All right, so we have seen that there is a convergence of many of the IVI technologies and operating environments in EV and ICE, okay? Like we said, it's pretty much the same, all right? The modern day car already contains an impressive amount of connected technologies, right? We already have the telematics unit or the TCU, which allows your cars to be connected. So there's an eSIM, right? And there's also a risk for that, okay? It's not just the EV charger that's having that kind of technology. Also vehicles with ICE. So to start off, that's what a typical, drag or graph from a connected vehicle, okay? You have your phone with you that you can unlock your car. There's an eSIM, and then it connects to the RSU roadside units as well, and very connected vehicle or modern connected vehicle. And yeah, it's pretty. There's a risk if you don't secure those API, of course. And then everyone is talking about AI nowadays. Like, hey, can you create a summary of the movie? Use Gen AI, use ChatGPT, right? But right now, a lot of this will come to the vehicles, right? Qualcomm, for example, is developing for their Orion processor, wherein it will be deployed in vehicles to improve the ADAS and also to make your music, what I mean is music experience better because of you can command the Gen AI to do that, right? Automakers are not immune to this AI craze, okay? All right, so how do hackers, if it's a connected vehicle, okay? How do they usually attack, okay? What's the attack surface that we look, okay? Come to think of it, for example, it's your house, right? I'm trying to describe an attack surface. So for example, in a house, you have the windows and doors as the attack surfaces for thieves and burglars to enter, right? For the cars, we have the vehicle endpoint. For example, for most connected vehicles, you have the TCU, and you are actually connected with your phone. Now, what if someone was able to root your phone and gain access to your phone, and he can actually remotely control your car? That's one thing. And then another one is someone is trying, because cars, you can update the firmware of your infotainments, right, over there. Now, what if someone is actually listening to their end or hosted a malicious firmware and upload that firmware to the IVI? So that's another attack surface, okay? So that's, in Pontoon Automotive 2024, one of my colleagues demonstrated wherein, even though he's currently in Japan, he was able to open the car and control some features of the car, wherein that car is actually in Europe, from one of our colleagues in Europe. How was he able to do that? Basically, there's an API endpoint that is vulnerable, and then you just need to use the VIN number. There's a new hack for Kia right now. As long as you know the plate number or the VIN number, you can actually open the and start the engine of a Kia car, right? There, if you look on Google right now, you can search for it, okay? So there are vulnerabilities that are being exposed. So Teslas can still be stolen with a cheap radio hack, but this happens on 2019 below, because they use a different one right now. They use the NFC or the ultra-wideband. So, yeah, this is a sample of a remote attack vector. In 2015, Charlie Miller and Chris Valasek successfully hacked a Jeep. So they found Sprint's Class A address space to connected vehicle, and they were able to attack from there, okay? And then another one is the Tesla hack for 2016 and 2017, all right? What the attacker did is to set up a fake hotspot or a rogue access point. And then after that, it will load a custom web page, and then that unit will actually try to connect to that rogue access point, okay? And you compromise the ECU from there. So yeah, just an information, the Jeep hack was responsible on why Bosch FCA actually, in 2018, most of their vehicles already have a security gateway or an SGW. It's like a firewall for cars. That's the reason. Because of Chris Valasek and Charlie Miller's hack in 2015. And actually, this is also one of the reasons why I got into cybersecurity. I was inspired by their work. So this is a demo of a hacking Pontoon in Tesla. So for Tesla, I mean. So I'll load the video right now. So these guys are from Synactive. And for this bug alone, yeah, they were able to control, even though they're actually remotely connected to the vehicle. It's a zero-click RCE, and they were able to control some features of the car, right? They were rewarded with $77,000 US just for this vector or POC. So basically, it's a remote exploit hacking chain wherein you need to initiate a man-in-the-middle attack, and then after that, you need to find vulnerabilities on the network, and then after that, you will access the head unit. So from there, by accessing the head unit, you will exploit from the head unit. And then you can actually reprogram the CAN bus gateway for it. So now, what are the recommendations for you to get your for the OEMs to do security for their cars? One of that is, of course, vulnerability scanning, ECU pen testing. Just to let you guys know, you should, it's actually easy for a penetration tester who is a web and network to move to a vehicle pen tester as long as they study, for example, CAN bus, RF, right? It's actually easy to get into that. If you know network pen testing. And then also another one is having IDS for CAN bus. So we, VIC1, we actually have a solution wherein we have X-Carbon for us to somehow alert you if someone is sending a malicious message or trying to hack your car. So this is the current automotive data ecosystem. All of this come together inside the automotive data ecosystem, which is a massive networking connecting vehicles. And then, right now, data actually truly becomes valuable when it can be used to discover new insights, all right? One of that is the vehicle security status, like doors, the trunk, and then JPS. And then, of course, extrapolated data. This can be used to deliver insights about things such as fuel efficiency, driver performance, and also local weather, and even road surface conditions. So this is a good data to have. All right, and then actually right now, we've analyzed and determined with our AI-powered data analysis is that OEMs are actually doing this and third-party vendors. On the left, for example, is a screenshot from Mercedes-Benz offering to sell micro-weather data extrapolated via data collected from their vehicles. On the right is my colleague's TD insurance app, and it actually calculates his insurance, like how he can save his insurance. But what are the cybersecurity risks for this, right, with these options? Vehicle tracking, okay? If someone is trying to assassinate you, for example, and he gets hands-on data, when someone wants to know where you are currently, he can do it because there's vehicle tracking, of course. And then another one is data manipulation, all right? Take, for example, you could control the brakes of the car, or you could actually control some of the components of the car. Another main thing about this is, of course, espionage, okay? It can be used for espionage. This data can be used for espionage. So, till now, my colleague and I, we gathered OSINT, and we were able to deduce so many things, okay? We were still lacking a real-world vehicle data, so we tried to gain insights, and we found a vehicle data being leaked online via the MQTT protocol. It's a IoT protocol being used right now. All right? So when we applied learnings to track or profile drivers in publicly exposed vehicle MQTT data, it's a service wherein this is not supposed to be in public, released in public. This is an example of delivery driver profiling using vehicle data collected via open MQTT brokers. So we redacted the names, okay? You can see there. We redacted the names, but you can see some data there, okay? Because it has a broken MQTT. So what are the recommendations, all right? You should implement data protection, inform users. You should also educate drivers about vehicle data collection and secure vehicle APIs, right? It should have an authentication mechanism. And then, of course, you need to regulate data use and develop secure middleware APIs, all right? For more information, you can check out our blog and white papers for VIC1. If you just go to vic1.com/blog, you can see some of the white papers and articles that we've written about, for example, Gen AI, the current threat landscape, what we see right now in the dark web, and also like what are the trends right now that OEMs are doing. And thank you for that one. Thank you for the time.